Mm. Now we are going to comment on the latest articles, typically tutorial articles that have been published recently. Arthurs, we have several articles. Which ones would you like to comment?
Share the screen. I don't know if you see it already. Yeah.
It's thinking a bit long, but okay.
Yeah. So the first tutorial article is on improving your PHP code performance. It's a two-part article, and the author is Jose Luis Lasso. I think it's probably would be closer to you. You would know how to spell it properly. From Spain. And in the first article, he describes the way you could improve your PHP code and detect if something is slow and why. And even mentioning tools like Xdebug to profile the script, and also mentions that one way of improving script performance is caching the data. So it's like an overall topic on how you could detect so bottlenecks in your code using which tools and how you could improve it. And the second article talks mostly on his own class, I think, that he implemented, called preemptive cache class, which basically allows you to store cache the data and keep it in memory and then retrieve it. Rather than, for example, accessing from database again, that really improves the speed of the uh, code execution, because you do not need to perform query on the database, but can get the data from local cache or memory that the preemptive class implements. So if you are in need of optimizing your code, you can check it out and maybe even use the class provided by Jose Luis.
That's interesting class. It's quite simple, but it's generic because you can pass a callback to it, and it will fetch the data that is meant to be cached. And the caching that you use, it's in memory. Like, for instance, if you want to use access records in a database, and sometimes you need to access the same records in the same script, it keeps a small cache in memory in an array with a limited number of records, so you don't use too much memory, and this way it can avoid accessing the same records over and over. And that's where the performance gain comes.
Yeah, exactly. The second article is called Creating Ajax-based PHP Shopping Cart. Also at two parts article written by Ashraf Keith from Bosnia and Herzegovina. With PHP classes, I will soon learn all the flags of all the countries here.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it was Bosnia. Yeah, Herzegovina. So, and it's actually a great tutorial, especially if you're starting out with PHP. It covers all the basics from a database, PHP, and JavaScript on the front end side. And the first part, you would create the needed tables and HTML page to have a product list, to add products to the cart and display the cart. And in the second article, you would be able to edit the card, to remove items from the card, and even to send the card to checkout, like process, save the order to the database, not like make a payment or something, but save the order. So this is functionality that most e-commerce websites need, and if you are building it on your own CMS, on your own scripts, you would need to implement stuff like that, and this article would be a great reference to it. Or, as I say, if you're learning PHP, then this article is great because it's taking all the parts of the process from database server side to front end side in JavaScript. So
Yeah, it can be used by sites that need some e-commerce basic system, but they do not want to implement a full-blown e-commerce platform because it's probably just a few products and a very simple process. So on my behalf, I also would like to comment about a few articles. First, let me comment on one that actually I wrote because there was a user that posted a comment on the support forum of a package that I wrote to access APIs using OAuth. And the problem that he had is that he wanted to access images, media from Twitter messages, and what is the problem? And the problem is that he wanted to access images attached to the direct messages, and direct messages are private, so you can only access them using authenticated requests. So you need to use OAuth. The problem is that you went to the documentation of Twitter and did not find a way to access it. So he needed to retrieve the message, the direct message that he wanted to access the images, and figure where the eventual URL of the images could come from. And that was not obvious because there are like 5 types of URLs in there, yet tried some, and in the end it was the least obvious one that was in a different data structure, because Twitter nowadays, if you send a request, it sends a long response, JSON encoded with all the details, of the author, and I figure what was the URL, and since I suspect that somebody will have this problem again, I wrote an article and explaining all the steps. It was not complicated after all, but until you figure, you start wondering. So I wrote this article. Another article that I wanted to comment, actually, it's an article written in 3 parts. And this one was by, again, José Luis Lasso. He wrote an article on how to start long server tasks that take too long to complete, and you don't want to hang the user waiting for the tasks to complete because they probably take too long. And he actually developed a solution, implemented it in a class, and wrote an article divided in 3 parts. In the first part, it talks about this, the problem that he faced, which is how to start the task but don't hang the browser. And the solution that we found initially is to use the curl program, not the curl PHP extension, the curl program, and start it as a parallel request, and that would actually create a process that would run and would send the request and would detach from the PHP script that started it. That was one solution, but then later he found other solutions that did not require the curl program to be installed on the server, which could not be possible. And also he relied on Linux, actually Unix shells, on the way they start the parallel tasks using the ampersand signal. So in the first article, it talks a bit about the 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 theory behind this, because it's not just sending the request, it's also monitoring the task to see how far it progressed. And that is in the theory is in the first part. In the second part, it shows how to implement the solution using the classes that they developed. It has developed classes for handling, starting the task, monitoring the task, and returning some value, information about how it is going. And just today, he published the third part, because the solution that he provided would only allow to start one server task at a time, just to not consume the server resources. But since in some cases you might have a big server that can run multiple parallel tasks, he has written a third part that allows the server to run multiple parallel tasks. And he has a screenshot here and also a video. I don't know if I can play this video, you can see. Yeah, I don't know. Can you still see it?
Yes.
Maximize? Okay. So it is showing here how the progress, and you can see, for instance, 3 parallel tasks running and advancing. And this is great because it actually shows the solution in action. It's not just theory that does not work. So congratulations to José Luis Lasso for his article. It's very useful for people that want to learn about solutions. There are other types of solutions, like relying on Gearman, but not everybody has access to Gearman on their own servers. So this solution would work in practically all PHP environments. Okay. Now we are going to move on and talk about the latest books and now also video reviews. Arthurs, it seems you'd like to comment on the first video review that we are publishing.
Yeah, that is actually, as you mentioned, it's not a book, it's a video review, and it's called Up to Speed with PHP 7. So as we all know, PHP 7 is to come out quite soon, and I'm still getting my head around what is new, what was broken, and it would be great to have more concise information on that. And this video by David Powers is actually what provides it. And the review is written by Samuel Adeshina, and it starts very promising. Although we still await the major production-ready release of the most hyped version of PHP since its first release in 1995. So far, there have been 7 important releases, and that Rasmus Lerdorf described as an 100% improvement over the predecessors of the PHP language. So it should be the best version of PHP out yet. So Samuel's review describes what you can see in different chapters of the video. You should watch them yourself too. And in the end, he mentions that up to I would recommend this video series to every intermediate advanced PHP developer out there, and that it is the best material so far that can help you do that. So if you are also excited about PHP 7 and can't really wrap your head around what to wait for, then go and read this review and watch these videos, and hopefully you will be up to speed with it.
Yeah. Yes, that is interesting, and this is the first video that is reviewed here. It seems O'Reilly is publishing videos, tutorial videos, rather than just books.
Yeah, most of them does it. Pack does it too.
Yes, now we are also publishing reviews about them. And now I'd like to also comment about a couple of book reviews. Let me share the screen here. In the latest months, we reviewed so many books that now we don't have many more to review because either they are too old or there are no more new books being published. And the first one is about WooCommerce. WooCommerce is an extension for WordPress that turns your WordPress installation into e-commerce store, and it was actually acquired recently by Automatic, so it's a platform for extending WordPress, and now they all belong to the same company. And he's talking about this book, and it describes what is in each chapter, the basics, how to add products, organizing your stores, building memberships, and one interesting comment that he makes is that while this is a book telling about something that is basically open source, many of the things described in the book require that you purchase extensions. Therefore, he was not very excited. I mean, the reviewer, Lopo Lancaster Almeida, was not so excited because if you are going to buy all these plugins, it will not be so inexpensive. Therefore, he recommends that you only buy the things that you need and pick them carefully. It's not that he's not recommending the book or the plugins. The other book that I wanted to comment is Learning PHP Design Patterns. From the review is from Alexander Skakunov, and he published this book about basically design patterns and how to apply them in PHP. And this is an interesting book that should be considered by many developers, especially those that are not so familiar with the design patterns, or are not sure how they are best applied to in their PHP projects. And so he does recommend this book very extensively. So basically, with this, we conclude our review of the reviews of the books, and next month we will have more. On my behalf, that's all for now. Bye.
Bye.